From the late Triassic to the late Cretaceous, more than 150 million years pass. During this time, the world changes on an enormous scale, and so do the creatures that inhabit it. Millions of years later, we mostly talk about the stars of the prehistoric predators. We tell stories of the cunning velociraptor, the sail-backed Spinosaurus, and the unrivaled ruler, Tyrannosaurus rex. Species like these come mainly from fossil-rich regions that are well studied, such as North America or Asia. But they represent only a fraction of the world that was once home to countless different species, of which today only a few bones remain. Their traces stretch across the entire reign of the dinosaurs, from the rise of the first hunters in the Triassic to the last kings of the Cretaceous. About 210 million years ago, North America is still part of the supercontinent Pangaea, which is slowly beginning to break apart. The area of today's U.S. state of New Mexico is hot and seasonally dry in the late Triassic, yet the landscape consists of vast river plains and floodplains. Because life gathers along the riverbanks, feared predators also hunt mainly in places like these. Theropods such as this Coelophysis are small and agile, yet one hunter already towers above them in this early age of dinosaurs. The Gojirasaurus most likely stands at the top of this food chain, not least because of its impressive size. From head to tail, it measures up to around 6 meters, making it significantly larger than most other theropods of its time. Its name also derives from the Japanese film Monster Godzilla, a reference to an extraordinarily large lizard. Despite its size, it is slenderly built, with strong hind legs capable of supporting its body on their own. Its forearms are shorter and adapted for grasping. The head of the Gojirasaurus is elongated, and its jaws are filled with sharp, serrated teeth, perfectly suited for tearing flesh. The Gojirasaurus is likely a solitary hunter. It can afford this, as its impressive size alone would probably be enough to keep competitors at bay. As one of the earliest large theropods, it marks a turning point for these predators. It shows that bipedal hunters are already beginning to assume the role of top predators in the Triassic long before they'll dominate the Jurassic. Today, however, little is known about the Gojirasaurus. So far, only a single incomplete specimen is known, Gojirasaurus quayi. Whether it truly represents a distinct species or merely a particularly large relative of Coelophysis remains controversial, at least until more fossils are discovered. Almost 100 million years later, the early Cretaceous unfolds. Pangaea is long gone. Tectonic pressures continue to reshape the world map, and they still do to this day. In the early Cretaceous, Laurasia lies in the northern hemisphere, a landmass shared by North America, Europe, and Asia. Here, in the northeast of present-day China, lies the home of Sinotyrannus, the Liaoning province, a warm, humid landscape of lakes, dense forests, and active volcanoes. Sinotyrannus translates to Chinese tyrant. It is also unusually large for its time. At up to 10 meters long, it measures almost as much as its famous descendant, Tyrannosaurus rex. Unlike the latter, however, it is significantly less massive. Its body is slender and supported by 2 long legs, while its large arms are even more functional than those of later tyrannosaurids. Some of the bones found suggest a raised nasal ridge or a slight crest, but this remains speculative, as only fragmentary remains are known. Its diet includes smaller herbivores and likely other theropods as well. As one of the earliest large relatives of the tyrannosaurids, it shows that the ancestors of this famous and feared lineage already belonged to the dominant hunters long before the late Cretaceous. Ten 10,000 kilometers away from the humid plains of China, we find the floodplains of the Sahara. Africa in the early Cretaceous lies on Gondwana, the other major continent, separated from Laurasia by the Tethys Sea. Even without exchange between terrestrial animals, dominant predators evolve independently on both landmasses. In the Sahara region, Eocarcharia likely stands at the top of the food chain. It inhabits the Elraz Formation, characterized by wide plains, lakes, and periodically flooded rivers. Instead of endless sand dunes, there are forest islands with ferns, conifers, and low-growing trees. There are dry and rainy periods, but no extreme desert conditions, allowing a diverse fauna to thrive. Eocarcharia coexists with large herbivores such as Uranosaurus. Since the latter is slightly larger than the predator, it is probably rarely targeted as prey. Eocarcharia reaches a length of 6 to 8 meters, is robustly built and muscular. It moves on 2 well-developed hind legs, while its forearms are considerably more delicate. Its most striking feature, however, is its head. Directly above the eyes sits a massive bony crest, probably used to impress conspecifics or demonstrate dominance. Its robustness has allowed this brow to be well preserved as a fossil, giving the specimen the name suffix Dinops. Its name translates roughly to ancient shark with terrifying eyes, with the shark symbolizing a predator. It is probably solitary. However, it cannot be ruled out that it occasionally forms loose hunting groups to pursue prey. In any case, it is a feared predator, not only due to its imposing facial features, but also because of its ability for powerful sprints and a strong, crushing bite. Back in Laurasia, we encounter another fascinating predator in China. In the midst of the Dashwigu Formation, Chilantaisaurus lives in a relatively open flatland, crisscrossed by rivers, lakes, and swampy areas. It takes its name from the site where it was discovered, near the Chilantai Salt Lake region in western Inner Mongolia. It reaches a body length of 11 meters and weighs around 4 tons. As a theropod, it walks on its 2 hind legs, but its true distinguishing feature is located at the front of its massive torso. At the ends of its arms are impressive claws, each with an unusually elongated first finger. Because of this claw, some researchers assumed that Chilantaisaurus might be a primitive member of the Spinosaurid family, as claws like these were long considered unique to that group. Due to the limited fossil record, however, it cannot be ruled out that it is actually a carnosaur related to the famous Allosaurus. Its exact lineage remains uncertain, but its sheer size and massive claws suggest that it was one of the top predators of its time. Its body is strong and robust, just like its jaws. This allows Chilantaisaurus to hunt large prey, which other theropods might avoid. On its hunts, it likely relies more on power than on speed, though even this remains speculative. Not far from the home of Chilantaisaurus lives the Achillobator. Its home is the Bayan Shire Formation, with its semi-open landscapes of river valleys, forests, and lakes. At 5 meters in length and a body weight of up to 300 kilograms, it is somewhat smaller compared to other predators on our journey. Within its group, however, it still counts among the true giants. Achillobator is a dromaeosaurid, a bipedal carnivore closely related to birds. Alongside its much better-known relative, the Utahraptor, it belongs to the largest representatives of this group. Characteristic of these feathered hunters are their slender snout, long curved claws on the arms, stiff balancing tail, and the enlarged, sickle-shaped claw on the foot used to bring down prey. This foot claw is also the origin of its name. On the second toe, a strong tendon attaches, allowing the sickle claw powerful movements. The Achilles tendon refers to the hero of Greek mythology. In the legend, the mother of Achilles dips her son into the underworld river Styx as a baby to make him invulnerable. Because she holds him by the heel, that part does not touch the water, making it the only vulnerable spot on his body. Whether especially vulnerable or not, just as Achilles is famous for his strength and his legendary heel, the name Achillobator points to its outstanding physical abilities. As an agile carnivore, it hunts medium-sized herbivores and smaller theropods, using its claws and teeth for precision rather than pure force. It symbolizes the diversity of bird-like predators in the Cretaceous. We travel back to the area of the present-day USA. Around 77 million years ago, Appalachia in eastern North America forms an isolated landmass. At this time, the continent is still divided by the Western Interior Seaway, a vast inland sea that splits North America into Laramidia in the west and Appalachia in the east. While the most famous dinosaurs in Laramidia fight for survival, entirely different species develop in Appalachia, species that are barely mentioned today. This is not due to a lack of importance, but rather the challenging fossil record. Eastern North America in the Cretaceous is humid, flat, and forested, with many rivers and swamps. Such environments rapidly destroy bones. They decay or are washed away before they can fossilize, while the drier plains and sediments of the West preserve fossils much better. Appalachia is therefore less explored. Only in recent decades targeted finds have been made here. This includes Appalachiosaurus, which inhabits the humid tropical forests near the coast. It is considered the first described and so far most complete genus of tyrannosauroids from this region, earning its name rightfully. At 6 to 7 meters in length, it is about half the size of its famous neighbor, Tyrannosaurus rex. It is slender, long-legged, and lighter built than later tyrannosaurids. Appalachiosaurus moves swiftly on its powerful hind legs. Little is known about its forelimbs today, but it is assumed that, like other theropods, the arms of Appalachiosaurus are proportionally small. Its head is much better studied. A series of 6 low crests runs along the top of its snout, while most Tyrannosaur species display varying ornamentation on their snouts and brows. The teeth of Appalachiosaurus are sharp and finely serrated, ideal for precise bites and quick kills, not for crushing bones. This agile theropod moves quickly and nimbly during the hunt. Whether it hunts alone or in groups is unknown. In any case, Appalachiosaurus is a dominant predator, with little concern about competition. "15,000 kilometers south of Appalachia, across the ocean, lies the African island of Madagascar. We are now at the very end of the Cretaceous, 70 to 66 million years ago. Dry forests, conifers, palm-like plants, and early flowering plants shape the landscape. Dry seasons are pronounced, and only short rainy periods water the environment, so even swamps regularly lose their moisture. Through this parched thicket moves a particularly bulky theropod. Majungasaurus reaches a proud weight of 1 ton at just 7 meters in length. Its name derives from its discovery site, the Majunga province in northwestern Madagascar. Thanks to several skull finds, Majungasaurus is among the best-studied theropods of the southern hemisphere. Although it also walks on its 2 hind legs, they are proportionally smaller than those of other theropods, suggesting it likely moved more slowly. Its arms are likewise strongly reduced, as are the 4 short fingers on its hands. The skull of Majungasaurus is strong and compact, enabling a powerful bite. Over time, it developed a feeding strategy similar to that of modern cats. Its short, broad snout allows it to bite once and hold its prey until it is subdued. The outer surfaces of the skull bones are rough-textured, continuing to the nasal bones, which are extremely thick and fused together. This, along with the dome-shaped horn on its forehead, makes the head overall extremely robust. The skull crest probably plays a role in intraspecific competition. As the largest predator in its habitat, it must assert itself primarily against members of its own species. This theory is supported by clear bite marks on found Majungasaurus bones, most likely caused by a conspecific. It is also likely that it scavenges on the carcasses of its own kind. This makes it the only non-avian theropod with confirmed cannibalistic tendencies. Whether it actively hunts its relatives or merely opportunistically feeds on remains is still unclear today. In the end, Majungasaurus prefers to live alone, hunt alone, and defend its territory. It is the apex predator of its ecosystem, and it intends to remain so. Just as Majungasaurus rules Madagascar, another predator reigns in Patagonia. South America is now fully separated from Africa. The climate in the southern part of the continent, present-day Argentina, is mild to cool. Forested valleys, open plains, river systems, and floodplains shape the landscape. Despite the southern latitude, there is a rich flora of conifers, ferns, and flowering plants. The tone in Patagonia is set by Maip macrothorax. The name Maip is taken from Aeonic mythology and roughly means shadow of death that kills with cold wind. The suffix macrothorax refers to its large chest cavity, a distinctive feature of this predator. Maip is a true colossus among megaraptors. It reaches up to 10 meters in length, making it the largest known member of its group. Its body is elongated, muscular, and remarkably slender, with a strong spine and a large chest. The namesake chest is exceptionally broad and voluminous, suggesting an efficient respiratory system similar to birds. This is not the only feature it shares with birds. Like other dromaeosaurids, Maip was probably feathered, although it could not fly. As an agile runner, it is better on foot and can likely breathe particularly efficiently during movement thanks to its sophisticated lung system. Maip is another apex predator of its own environment. Through the extinction of other large hunters in Patagonia, it could grow ever larger, becoming the top predator in southernmost South America. But this will not last forever. Maip will be one of the last of its lineage, an heir to an era that is coming to its end. The shadows of catastrophe loom above, ready to darken the skies and change everything. Soon, an asteroid will strike the Earth, marking the end of the age of dinosaurs and the beginning of a new era. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a like and consider subscribing. Check out the other videos on the channel for more content like this. See you next time.